My beloved chosen one, this is your moment. Do not underestimate it, for it will not repeat itself in the same way. For so long, you have carried an invisible burden that almost became a part of you. Shoulders tensed, heart on guard, mind trapped in a state of constant alertness, as if each day were a battlefield from which you could not escape. Listen to me carefully, for what I reveal to you now is not an empty promise, not a fleeting comfort. It is a decree that I, your God, have sealed in the heavens. Today, I proclaim your victory. Yes, this struggle that tried to define who you are, that sought to trap you in endless cycles, that attempted to convince you that darkness would have the final word, is over. The war is finished. Though your body still bears the marks, and your memory tries to pull you back to the past, my eternal verdict is written. You have overcome. I, the Lord, have declared over your life that you are entering a new season, no longer marked by the desperate effort to survive, but by the peace that surpasses all understanding, by the freedom that does not bow to circumstances, and by a rest that is not weakness but proof of your strength. This message does not come by chance. It comes because your spirit has called for it, because your soul cried out for confirmation. And today I, the Most High, respond. If you were waiting for a sign, behold it, for this is it. Before moving forward, I ask something of deep spiritual significance. Press the like button as an act of faith. Subscribe if you haven't already, so you don't miss any word destined for my chosen ones. And write the number 99 in the comments, for the number 9 symbolizes fullness and the completion of cycles. By repeating it twice, you proclaim to the universe that your battle is over and that you are entering the double portion of victory I have reserved for you. Listen to me carefully, for this is not a metaphor or a fleeting speech. I speak of an eternal decree pronounced in my heavenly court before your mind could even comprehend it. The victory I grant you today does not depend on what men say. It is not measured by the applause that never came or by the human recognition so often denied to you. Your victory is sealed by my divine seal, by my voice that declared, "This son, this daughter has endured, and therefore the battle is over." Perhaps your eyes still see traces of the storm. Perhaps your surroundings have not yet fully changed, and so your mind tries to deceive you, whispering that nothing has shifted. But your spirit knows. Something has moved in the unseen. Something has transformed irrevocably. The cycles that seemed endless have been closed with force, like a door no one can reopen. The chains that bound your steps have been broken beyond repair, and the enemy that pursued you with fury has lost all authority over your destiny. Do you understand what this means? Even if you try to measure your progress with human eyes, I, the Almighty, have declared that the case is closed in your favor. When I issue a verdict, there is no appeal, no contradiction, no earthly force that can nullify it. The adversary may shout, may try to confuse your mind, may raise illusions to make you believe the fight persists, but all these are shadows, echoes of a conflict that no longer has power. My sentence is written. You have overcome. The mystery is profound. Sometimes victory does not resound like trumpets, but like a sacred silence after the storm. Sometimes your soul, accustomed to the clamor of war, hesitates to embrace the quiet, fearing something is wrong because the explosions have ceased. But this silence is not empty. It is the confirmation that my order has been fulfilled. The battlefield has been cleared, and though your senses may take time to accept it, your spirit carries the certainty that my judgment is in your favor. Allow me, your God, to reveal something few understand. When I seal a victory, the earth is compelled to align sooner or later. Perhaps men have not yet noticed. Perhaps your surroundings act as if nothing has changed, but time cannot resist my command. Soon you will see doors that seemed eternally shut swing open suddenly. Voices that rose against you fall silent, and even those who doubted you will have to acknowledge what I have already proclaimed. But there is a crucial point. You cannot live as if my judgment is still pending. You cannot carry weapons against an enemy I have already defeated. You cannot waste your energy on scenarios that no longer exist. This is the moment to accept that the fight is over, to recognize that your sacrifice was not in vain, and to allow your identity to be shaped not by the war, but by the victory. Reflect, how much longer will you let memories of pain deceive you? How much longer will you allow your mind to replay old scenes as if they still held dominion over you? The war that tried to destroy you no longer has permission to touch you. My sentence is final. It is not negotiable. It is not reversible. I have written your name next to the word victor, and nothing and no one can erase it. This is the moment to decide within yourself. Will you continue to act like a warrior in the midst of combat, or will you walk like a king after triumph? For when you accept the truth of my decree, your posture changes, your gaze lifts, your way of moving forward is renewed. This is not arrogance, it is authority. The authority I grant to the one who has crossed through the fire and emerged unscathed, who endured what others could not withstand, who was tested and emerged purified like gold. Here is a climax you cannot ignore. If I, the Lord, have proclaimed your victory, what would happen if tomorrow you rose and walked as if the chains of the past had never existed? What would your day be like if you lived not in uncertainty, but in the certainty that the case is closed in your favor? There were endless nights when your pillow knew more tears than dreams, nights when your thoughts became a relentless adversary, repeating that you would not survive another day. There were dawns when exhaustion was not just physical, but spiritual, as if your entire being was on the verge of shattering. And yet here you are, this simple truth, the fact that you still breathe, that you still hear my words, is undeniable proof that your resilience overcame the storm. But do not be deceived. It was not merely your human strength that sustained you. What held you firm was not just your will. It was my supernatural power, my divine protection that enveloped you even without your full awareness. Every tear you shed was counted in my celestial records as a testimony of your faith. None were wasted, none were invisible. Men may have ignored your pain, but I, the Creator, recorded every sigh, every silent prayer, every cry hidden behind a smile that no one deciphered. Every wound you endured became evidence. Evidence of what? That your faith does not break easily, that what the enemy tried to use to destroy you revealed the fortress I placed within you. For only those who have plunged into the depths of pain know the true power of hope. Recall the days when you walked with heavy steps, when routine seemed like an unbreakable chain. Recall the moments when all you had to offer was an exhausted sigh. And yet I responded with a subtle miracle. A word at the exact moment, a door that opened against all logic, a soul that arrived as an angel in disguise. Don't you see? That was not coincidence. It was my divine preservation, sustaining your story so it would not collapse before its time. What you lived left marks, and those marks are sacred. They are invisible signs that prove you were forged in the fire and not consumed by it. The scars of your soul are seals of authenticity, spiritual credentials that proclaim, I survived what was designed to annihilate me. And though the world tries to convince you that these wounds are weakness, in my eyes, they are trophies of glory. Undeniable proof that my hand never left you. Here is the revelation. Your resilience was not just about you. Every time you stood firm, even unknowingly, you opened paths for future generations. Your perseverance wrote a milestone in your legacy, broke ancient curses, and established new inheritances. What you faced was not just a personal test. It was a battle you fought on behalf of those who would never have endured what you overcame. Your resilience was living intercession, embodied prophecy, a legacy sown in tears. Do you understand why it is vital to recognize this? If you do not value the footprints of your resilience, you risk thinking that everything you lived was in vain. Every fall and every rising, every I can't go on that turned into I'm still here, all of it was counted, recorded, and used to build the fortress within you. What seemed like loss was, in truth, investment. What seemed like darkness was preparation. What seemed like silence was a secret dialogue between you and me. Pause for a moment and see yourself through my eyes. Do not see yourself as someone who merely survived. See yourself as someone sustained by my invisible hands, preserved because there was a purpose that could not be erased. The enemy does not understand this. If you are still here, it is not by luck. You are here because I never abandoned you in the war. Even if hell rose against you, my sovereign voice decreed, do not touch them, do not destroy them. Their mission is not yet complete. Here is the climax I wish to engrave in your spirit. If your resilience was enough to carry you through the worst, what will be capable of sustaining you in what is to come? If you overcame nights when the world seemed to conspire against you, imagine the strength with which you will walk now that the heavens are on your side. There is something your spirit urgently needs to understand. Rest is not surrender, it is not escape. Rest is not weakness. Rest is the sign of those who have overcome. For years, your body grew accustomed to sleeping with one eye open, as if every silence hid a threat. You walked armored even in times of peace, because the pain of the past taught you to live on alert, as if the next blow were certain. But hear my revelation. I did not create you to live eternally in survival mode. That is not your identity, that is not your destiny. Rest is your inheritance, your banner of victory. Your mind still confuses constant motion with real progress. You believe that only by fighting, running, and resisting did you prove your strength. But true strength is not in perpetual tension. It is in the confidence that dares to drop the sword when I declare the war is over. What good is it to fight battles I have already won for you? What purpose is there in hardening your heart if I have disarmed the enemy's traps? It's time to abandon the armor that served its purpose. For a soldier who refuses to lower it after victory becomes a slave to the fear the battle left behind. The rest I offer you is not laziness or complacency. It is living trust. It is the prophetic act of one who knows their life is secure in my hands. When you choose to rest, you declare that you do not depend on your own strength to sustain your future, that you do not need to control every detail to stand firm. Rest is surrendering anxiety, obsession, and fear to me, who fought for you and won. This sets you apart. Your victory is not just surviving, it is learning to live in fullness. Think, how can someone enjoy peace if they live as if everything depends on a single mistake? How can a heart trust in love if it fears being wounded? The rest I give you transforms your breath, your prayer, the depth with which you love. You no longer pray from desperation, but from certainty. You no longer love with fear of loss, but with the assurance that your roots are in me, the eternal. You no longer walk dreading the future, but with the confidence that every step is guided by me. Rest is also a weapon, though it may not seem so. While the enemy expected to see you exhausted, crawling across the battlefield, now they will see a victor seated at the table in peace, enjoying what I promised. Is that not more powerful than any shout of triumph? True victory is not shown only in war, but in the serenity that follows, in the ability to enjoy what once seemed impossible. Allow me to reveal something even deeper. Rest is part of your mission. I do not want you to live exhausted. I want you to be a testimony of stability in a world crumbling under anxiety. When they see you walking calmly, not running in desperation, when they see you enjoying life without fear of losing it, they will recognize that my strength sustains you. Your peace will be your greatest sermon, your serenity, your strongest shield. Here is the decisive point. Do not reject this call, for resisting rest is resisting the victory I have given you. If I say lower your sword, and you keep fighting, you battle against yourself. If I say breathe, and you hold your breath, you suffocate the purpose I have sealed over you. Do not be deceived into thinking rest will make you lose ground. On the contrary, rest is what will allow you to sustain what is to come. Hear this climax. If you had the strength to survive chaos until now, imagine what you will build when you learn to live in peace. The battle tried to shape your vision, sought to engrave in your mind the lie that you were merely a survivor, someone who barely held on, who struggled to stay upright. But I, with a firm voice and eternal decree, call you a conqueror. You are not a conqueror because you did not suffer, but because you crossed the storm and emerged transformed. You are no longer defined by your wounds, but by the fact that none of them stopped you. The war tried to brand you with labels of failure, defeat, fragility, saying you would always be the one who fights, who falls, who loses. But hear this, that narrative no longer has power over you. I erased that story and wrote a new one on your forehead. Victor chosen, heir of my promises. When I change your identity, no past can contradict me. This transformation is not symbolic, it is radical. You cannot replay old scenes of pain as if they were your present. You cannot live expecting betrayal as if you were condemned to eternal suspicion. You cannot anticipate failure as if it were inevitable, for my decree over you is victory. Your identity is no longer the war, but the triumph born from it. This changes everything. It changes how you pray. Before, you cried out in anguish, pleading as if I were distant. Now you pray, knowing my presence never left you, that my favor covers you. It changes how you love. Before, you gave your heart with fear, dreading it would be broken, holding back a part out of caution. Now you love in fullness, knowing that what is broken in human hands, I restore with divine hands. It changes how you walk. You no longer move forward with your head bowed, fearing missteps, but upright, knowing each step is sustained by my sovereign decree. See how this change operates. As a survivor, everything you did was tinged with anxiety, driven by the fear that one mistake would destroy everything. But now that you know you are a conqueror, you understand that even your mistakes are redirected to my greater purpose. Before, you thought you had to prove your worth to men, striving to show you were enough. Now you know you never needed to earn the title of chosen, for you were always mine. Here is something profound. This change in identity is not just for you. I raise you as a sign for others. Your transformation is a mirror for those who still believe surviving is the pinnacle. When they see you, they will realize there is a higher level, that of those who no longer carry the weight of war, but the glory of victory. This will open the eyes of many who still walk as prisoners of their past. Do not forget, the enemy does not fear those who survive. He fears those who rise from the battle with a new name. Surviving may be chance, but conquering is destiny, and your destiny is sealed. The question is, will you dare to walk as one who has already won, or will you continue to act as one who fears losing everything? Here is the climax of this moment, a question that must echo in your being. If I have changed your name, if I have called you a conqueror, how much longer will you allow your mind to think like a survivor? The rest I give you now does not mean the end, but the beginning of something far greater. Do not mistake calm for an ending, for in my logic, the silence after the storm always precedes the building of something new. I did not just deliver you from the war. I positioned you on fertile ground, where every step will be a seed of abundance and purpose. This peace you feel is not a fleeting luxury. It is the foundation for promises you have not yet imagined. Here is the key. What is to come will not be the fruit of a frantic search, but of perfect alignment with my plan for you. For too long, you chased voices that did not value your essence. You tried to force doors that only led to more exhaustion, as if your life depended on convincing those who would never recognize your worth. But now that has changed. In this new season, you will not need to pursue what was not meant for you. You will not need to beg for validation or insist on closed doors. The right doors will open on their own, for I have aligned your path. This is the difference between fighting to survive and walking in purpose. Fighting wears you down. Purpose propels you forward. Think, what if what you sought so desperately began to seek you? That is the essence of this new era. What you once pursued with anxiety will be drawn by the light you carry. The right opportunities, true connections, necessary resources will come to you, for my decree has already been spoken. It is like a spiritual magnet. The sealed victory creates a field of attraction nothing can stop. But do not be mistaken. This does not mean life will be without effort or that everything will fall from the sky. It means your effort will now have meaning, for you will no longer sow in barren soil. What you plant in this season will bear fruit, because the ground has been purified by the fire of your past battles. And when you reap, you will understand that every tear watered the soil for this moment. Your abundance will not only be material but emotional, spiritual and relational, abundance in clarity, in true bonds, in opportunities that expand your mission on earth. This invitation to a new season is also a call to discernment. Not everything that shines will be for you, nor will every open door be a gift. But trust, I who preserved you in the storm will give you discernment to distinguish what comes from me and what is merely a disguised distraction. You will not fall into old traps, for your spirit is more attuned, your vision clearer, your confidence firmer. Understand this. I did not pull you from the war to return you to the starting point. I pulled you out to take you to a level where it is no longer about surviving, but about building. And this building is not small. It is expansive. It involves your purpose, your legacy, your lineage. What you build now will impact more souls than you imagine, for your life is no longer just about you, but about those who will be touched by what you carry. Here is a climax that should shake you. If I have aligned your path, if the right doors are about to open, are you truly ready to walk in this abundance? Or will you keep looking back, fearing it will all repeat? What is coming will not wait for your doubt. It is in motion and will soon touch your life undeniably. My beloved chosen one, hear well, the battle is over. This echo in your spirit is not an illusion. It is my decree sealed over you. You no longer need to carry invisible chains or live as if each day were an ambush. The weight of the past no longer belongs to you. Your scars have ceased to be marks of pain and have become trophies of glory. I have declared it. The victory is yours, and rest is your inheritance. Walk with your head held high, for you have been marked with the seal that hell cannot erase. Move forward with a light heart, for the worst is behind you, and what is coming is too great to live, bowed by old memories. Rise as one who knows the battlefield is empty, and all that remains is to gather the spoils of victory. This word is not mere inspiration. It is my eternal decree. What you have heard today has the power to rewrite how you see your life, for you no longer walk under the shadow of fear, but under the light of an unstoppable destiny. The war is over. Your victory is sealed and your new season has begun. Declare in faith. As a shout that shakes the heavens, comment below, "My victory is sealed." Write and proclaim to the spiritual world, for every word will be a testimony that your story has changed forever. Now breathe deeply, for what is coming will not be small, will not be ordinary, will not be a repetition of the old. It will be so great that your soul will understand why you endured so much. My verdict is written. The enemy is defeated. Your name is engraved in victory, and no one can stop you. Amen.